Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tech-Mex Podcast. We're your hosts, Eric and Mando. This is episode 107, number 107. We're bringing you the top stories in Bitcoin, tech, and wealth so you can impress your friends.
Dude, I was partying in Vegas like a rock star, as you can hear.
Hey, you sound a little raspy there, man.
A little raspy. I was trying to sing like Elvis Presley songs.
Yeah. What were you doing out there?
There is a conference every year, AWS,
Okay.
and you get to see all of the cloud, a lot of the initiatives. There's a lot of people. They say that this year it was 60,000 people.
That's pretty big. Well, I can imagine with 60,000 people, I see you probably caught something out there.
Yeah, for sure. They were like all people.
That was like coffee. On every.
Yeah. Like people, if you're sick, don't go to public places. But I get it. And if you do, maybe put a freaking mask. It's for courtesy, you know?
Yeah, that'd be nice. I remember that's the first time I got COVID. I went to a healthcare conference, and that's when I got COVID. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it was like how ironic.
It is.
Yeah. Well, anyways, hopefully we can make it through the episode here without you coughing up a lung or something. So let's get into it. Well, on our first topic today, we've been doing deep diving on robots. We've got our first selection out there, but I saw something that was pretty cool this week. Actually, Tesla released a video, and I can show it real quick. They released a video of their Optimus robot running, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. Of course, we've seen robots already do like more than just running. Like the Unitary robots know how to do kung fu, but it's good to see on the US side our robots do something a little bit better. So let me play this. But if you know, in this video, this is actually 3 videos. So you see Optimus on the bottom here. You'll see Optimus running across the screen, and then Figures robot do their running, and then also I forget what the T800 is, kind of a newer robot. It's another Shenzhen based robot here by Engine AI.
That one sounds like the Terminator
the T800
robot.
They were very, they knew what they were doing with that, but you could see these guys running. If you notice the Tesla one across the bottom, they just kind of they don't show it starting and stopping. They just kind of show the gate as it's going, but they define running as like you actually leave the ground. So both feet have to leave the ground. So it has like this mid-air or a flight phase is what they call it.
It has to be the 2 feet in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has that flight phase. So you can see Tesla's robot seems to do okay. I had seen some breakdown videos that say it was going about 5 miles an hour, maybe 8 kilometers an hour. And that seems to be about the speed that it's going. But if you look at the figure one on the top left, it shows, it looks like a real person, how it might do that start, stop, and turn. I think, what do they call those? I think they call it like a shuttle exercise or shuttle run. It looks very fluid. It looks very human-like.
The robot can run better than you and me.
Yes, you're right. My ankle can't handle that stopping and turning right there out so fluidly like that robot.
Hold on. I was about to mention that. Finish the topic because I think that this is going to be an interesting topic about I read a book called Born to
Run. Yeah, I've heard of that one. And then you could see the T800 here. It has a little bit more of that Tom Cruise-esque run, where it looks like he's about to launch and do some kind of stunt or something. But in any case, these robots are continuously getting better. You can see these skills of running are doing good. Now, when Optimus made its video of like, hey, we can run now, that's when Figure, like just a day later, 24 hours later, like, well, like what we can do. And it does show like they did one up them a little bit. Figure does look really, really good there with its running. And then that T800, of course, we know that a lot of the Chinese companies are kind of they're really out there already with their capabilities. So, but it's good to see Optimus kind of continuously improving, so that maybe we can get one of those bots at some point. But what's this book again, God?
It's basically called Born to Run. This guy, he's into his 40s. He's like, how come I cannot run, right? Like he likes to run. He wants to run. He was a writer. So it's like, I have to find maybe doctors, therapists, or whatever. And he stumbled upon this tribe of Mexicans still there, and they're called purepechas. Are you familiar with them?
They're the ones that run in huaraches, right? And just sandals.
They're running sandals, huaraches, and they're in the kind of like the Mexican Grand Canyon, which we call them the barrancas. And the problem is that in that area is very bad, not just for the weather, also the canyon. A bad move, and you just like go to the bottom of the canyon. And on top of that, there is drug dealers and cartels in that area too. It's like either way, you're gonna get like
risk around the corner no matter what.
So those guys basically help him to fix his gait. And I think that maybe in this case, Optimus has to go with the purepechas.
Okay, so Optimus needs to read the book Born to Run and see about it. Yeah, I think my mother-in-law, my uncle, they were at a point where doing lots of marathons. They did several each, and I think they really got into it. So that's where I heard about the book Born to Run, kind of a motivational thing, I think, also. So I still haven't done a marathon. Have you ever done a marathon?
I don't think so. But you know what? The one that I would like to do is the Ironman, but I don't know. I'm getting older.
Well, start slow, my friend.
Never.
People our age, they start popping ligaments. They go like, shout out to Raul. Actually, Raul just, one of our loyal listeners, hopefully he hears this, but he just went to New York and ran the New York Marathon. Actually, his work sent him. He wrote a paper about, I guess the mental fortitude you have to be at to run a marathon. And so he won. And so as part of this thing, they sent him to New York, and
how many miles?
Marathon. The full marathon is
100 miles?
26 miles.
I think that was more.
I mean, 26 is enough. If you do there's some other ones that are like 100, 150, 200 miles, but
yeah, you're right. 26.2, which is also 42 kilometers.
Yeah. And so, it's not a small feat. So congrats to our buddy. I know that was a hard one. Pretty soon you're going to be running with robots too. So we'll see.
I don't know if it would be fun, but it's like culture and people, they start shifting, right? Like I wouldn't think that it would be fun to watch people play video games. And you have esports, right? But now...
Yeah, esports. Yeah,
it's like maybe just watching robots run or doing the Olympics, like the Chinese Olympics.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we did see it, and I think at first it's gonna be like, haha, look, the robot tripped over each other, and they all like ended up in a pile. But eventually, they're gonna be like, man, that robot's super fast. It's gonna break all the records, right? It's gonna break human records. As we're gonna be at that point, maybe sometime soon. You never know. We can see that these companies are trying to improve their gaits, their movement, and obviously for the materials to be able to sustain itself. I know you've been working on robots, and you know how a lot of the materials they break over time with use and things like that. So I'm sure that's something else that they're working on too.
Yeah, is the impact even as a human, right? Like you have the ligaments and you have everything. That's the reason why I know everybody can properly run, right, with the knees and your Achilles tendons and all of that. So it is hard to make a robot run for sure. So kudos for the 2 companies or 3 companies.
Yeah. So that uncanny valley is closing. Yeah. So if you work in logistics or in warehousing, your new coworker might be doing cardio in the break room by 2026 with these robots. You never know. All right. Well, moving on, from humanoid robotics to vehicle robotics, I found this pretty interesting. The Tesla FSD 14.2.1 seems to be getting a little bit better. And depending on its context or surrounding traffic, it'll actually let you text while driving. For those of you that are familiar with that Tesla FSD, you know that it will nag you to death if you're if you're not paying attention. Even if you're just trying to change a radio station or you just glance at your phone, it's like, dee, dee. Man, that tone that I so annoyed. But it nags you to death. But it seems like Elon might be addressing this. Have you heard about this?
No, I'm excited because in some cases you're in traffic, you're by no means in risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, you want to start maybe sending a text or whatever, right? So I think that it would be cool. And talking about that though, it's like I saw a post like, "Look, ma, no hands and now no eyes."
Exactly right. I still get some funny looks as I'm going down the road when they see that I'm not using my hands to drive. It is pretty funny. People see it and they're like, "Wow, it actually does work." I do go like this to the kids. They're like, "Look, Cybertruck." I'm like, "Look, no hands." They're like, "Oh." It is funny. Now they're
Yeah.
gonna see everybody with their phone in their face and you just drive it along. It's kind of funny. You know, not everyone thinks it's so funny. Apparently, there's some laws maybe against this, right? I think there's a lot of no phone while driving laws for good reason. That's how a lot of rear-ending accidents happen. But the truck, our truck's driving on its own. I don't see
Yeah.
what the big deal is for this, but
Well,
there is a clash that's
for
being
sure.
sparked here.
But because I was in Vegas, have you seen the Amazon Souk?
The Amazon Zooks, yeah, I have seen them before, but I didn't know where they're deployed. They are in Vegas.
They are in Vegas though. And very soon there's not gonna be a driver. So
Mm.
if you if you take a look, you can be like two and two, and they are driverless.
Yeah, these look like they are kind of almost like subway car
Kind of a
style,
little
or
subway, right? And the doors open, and then you
Mhm.
see it like in front of each other, and there is no like cabin, like there is nobody, like no wheel, no nothing, right? So
So this pic is actually from Vegas. This is your picture, right?
that's real picture. That's my picture taken in
Hmm.
Vegas, yes.
Yeah,
And it took me.
it looks pretty cool.
I had to download the Sux application, and right now, at least in Vegas, it was free, so I can just use
Hmm.
it. But it doesn't go to everywhere because that's the other thing that is happening in Vegas. They have to be in certain hotels, so I guess they have to program how to get to the parkings of each of the hotels. Only few hotels allow me to use it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's still using like I can see the sensors that it's got on there. It looks like it has lidar, radar, and maybe even thermal. So that's kind of telling where people are, buildings are, trees are, things like that. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, obviously, I think this is where things are going.
Hmm.
Have you heard this YouTuber? His name is Farzad. He covers a lot of Tesla. I think it's mainly Tesla. Anyways, he said he used to be a either a Tesla employee or a SpaceX
Mm.
employee. I don't remember. And now he covers the companies, but he had a talk about, if you're buying a new car right now, maybe think twice, because we're at the point now. Right now, we just have these robo taxis in like Austin and then in Bay Area, right? But they're expanding in 26 to several different cities. I think even in Houston, they're going to be here in next year. So like the economics of owning a car versus just using a robo taxi to get everywhere. It may not make sense to own your own vehicle, unless, of course, you're like an enthusiast or something like that. I'd rather drive my own Cybertruck. But a lot of people, if it comes down to do do I buy a car? And if you're buying a new car, the average new car cost is about 48K right now in the US. Would you rather just
Wow.
spend like $1 a mile on one of these, either a Zoox or a Robotaxi or something like that? Because that's what they say the cost is. It'll be about $1 a mile
Hmm.
versus I think a car, right? It's probably just starting at $2 a mile, your own vehicle, and then if you're doing an actual Uber with a driver, it probably goes up from there. So I know you said you used to Uber a lot back and
Hmm.
forth when you were living in Seattle.
Yeah, I basically got a deal from Uber. Any trip within the city was $4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why two? And basically, I was just using the car in the
Mm-hmm.
morning and in the evening, so it was $8 per day. So or even more, maybe with taxes and everything, $10. So you
Yeah, I
have
mean,
like the payment, right, $300. But it was not just that, because over there in Seattle, I have to pay for the parking, and
mm-hmm.
just the parking alone was like $300, right? So
Yeah.
it didn't make sense to have a car there.
So you can see that even today, in some scenarios, it makes sense financially to just use Uber, and Uber has a driver, so that is still going to be more expensive than maybe next year without a driver. It's just a driverless vehicle. We should cut the price in half. It'll make even more sense for a lot more people, right? So I think a lot of people should be thinking about, okay, if you're at that point where you're maybe thinking about buying a new car, maybe you don't need to buy that new car. You can hold out a little bit longer or something like that, and you could just try using these self-driving vehicles, robo taxis, Zooks. I don't know what Zook's plans are for expansion, but at least robo taxis, I know they're expanding into lots of metro areas here in this year. So that could be something to look at. We're gonna get one of the new Model Y performances. So we'll probably be doing that. I think we should be getting it this month. So we got the Christmas special. It's a red one with a white interior. I forget what it's called now. I don't know if it's ludicrous mode anymore, but plaid mode I think is maybe what it's called now. But we got the performance model. So hopefully it's coming in soon. I'm thinking about getting FSD, and I was thinking about leasing it because we don't qualify for the when we bought it. They had the EV thing, whatever the rebate. But there's like a workaround. You can lease it and then buy it out of the lease, so you can still kind of benefit from that. So we'll probably do that. And if I do that, then I'll get the
Hmm.
FSD, and so it'll have FSD on there because I really like it. It works really well on the Cybertruck, and I've heard that it works even better on the Model Y. So that's kind of cool. Y'all look for these vehicles coming to your area. I mean, 2026. Let's just see if you're on the if your city is on the list, and especially if you're within the main city limits, more than likely you're going to be covered to use these vehicles. I know some of my younger cousins, siblings, stuff like that, they're like not into driving. They don't want cars and stuff like that. I think they're waiting for these robo taxis and self driving stuff. And even some of, the older folks in our families, they're like, maybe they shouldn't be driving on their own anymore. Things like that. They'll be able to leverage these technologies too. So they'll have a little bit more freedom, more access without having to drive themselves. So I
That's
think
what they were
a lot of
saying
people
in
will
Vegas,
use it.
though, that the new generations don't go to Vegas, so they don't know what's going to happen to Vegas. So they don't drink, they don't gamble, they don't want to buy cars, they don't mate. They just watch Netflix.
maybe that's is they just should put Netflix shows on the Sphere. They watch it in a big screen, right? Did you go to the Sphere? I've been wanting to go. The big that big
It's
ball in
like
Vegas.
yeah, it's like two IMAXs.
Uh huh.
So I mean, it's pretty high, like the screen, right? So
Did you
it's
like it?
nice. I didn't like the pricing. I like seriously
It's like
for like
$100
a
for a movie or something, right?
yeah, it's like, and it's an old movie, Like right now they had the Wizard of Oz. It's
Uh-huh.
like, I want to pay that for watching an old rerun.
It was the Wizard of Oz. I was at the Bellagio. Probably in August. I think, yeah, I was in. That was in August. That was a big thing. The Wizard of Oz, like they had a lot of, I guess, promotional stuff going on for that. I didn't know what it was, but it's because of the
The
movie
Sphere
that just came out, right? What's it called again? The
with Wicked.
Wicked. Yeah.
I
So
think
they
that
were
that
doing
coffee
lots of
that you're
lead up to
taking
it.
though, that is age, is affecting you.
I was telling Gomez, man, I ran out of coffee beans this morning for my coffee, but I found like an old bag of beans from Seattle in Tacoma, actually from probably 18 months ago or something like that. I'm like, I smelled the bag. I'm like, it doesn't seem rancid, but maybe they had some mold in there because
Maybe the
I
mold is
cannot
already affecting you.
remember anything right now. It's like, oh man, I'm still drinking it though.
It tastes good.
It's like the cheese or aged cheeses. Don't they have like mold in them or something? It's just like that. It smells
Just
good.
like that.
It was a Ethiopian something or other, medium roast.
Hey, I was looking yesterday at the art. I don't know if this guy is an art or a troll, right? But he likes to troll the billionaires, though. And now he troll doing it some robot dogs. Do you saw the video?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna share it here real quick for you guys. I saw this. I started cracking up. I'm like, what? What is this? And so you can see it's
Yeah,
pooping.
it's
It poops
pooping, huh?
photographs.
Yeah, but it's another like it seems like maybe some unitries, the G1s, and then he put like the silicone faces for who was it? Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos.
There's a
Who else
bunch
was
of
there?
them in there. I think Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg. You know, a lot of people that are into this. I think Andy Warhol maybe also. Robotic pooping dogs. This guy Beeple is, man. I want to go to one of these events, man. We need to make it out to art. I don't know if you say Basil or Basil, Art Basil.
Bessel, yeah.
Either way, it's in Miami. Very cool. You know, the exhibit's titled "Regular Animals." I don't know how regular these billionaire dogs are, but it ain't that regular. I like the look though. So these were Boston Dynamics style dogs, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had some high quality dogs out there.
Yep. I have been following this guy for a while. He has a lot of his art in Instagram, so I follow him
Mhm.
in Instagram. He was doing NFTs. He's also a crypto bro, so very good art. Though I really like it. One of his art it was a bull and a Bitcoin, and that sold for a couple millions, if I remember.
Yeah. So, I mean, they seem pretty cool. Now, I mentioned that it poops pictures, right? So each dog apparently has like its own AI and it takes pictures of the crowd, right? And depending on which dog takes the picture and poops it out, it has a different AI model associated with it. So, like, for example, the one that Elon Musk dog, the Musk dog, it sees things in schematics. So it prints out like kind of a certificate of authenticity in this picture. So each one has its own personality that does things. You could actually buy these. Would you be interested
Hmm.
in one of these? Okay, apparently.
Each of the faces. I can get that for 3K and a Unit 3, and I can just put my face there.
You're right. I know, right? Those, by the way, those masks, they look like pretty high quality, actually. I mean,
They
they
do.
they didn't look too bad. Here, look, you can see. Let me share let me share the screen again. So you got to see it. I mean, yeah, these look like some high quality masks here. And you see Bezos there in the background. You see Elon Musk there, kind of to the right. You see Zuckerberg. This guy is awesome. Maybe I missed my calling. I should have been an artist.
I have seen your drawing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably not drawing. It has to be something else.
You might be able to pull off the a banana and it stick in the wall. That
You
I can
know,
see you pulling it up.
I could do it. I could do it.
I can do it.
Well, it's like the ultimate form of irony here, you know. It's like using high-end robotics, you know, what these people are building every day, right? And they're using AI to mock them. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's satire, right? That's a whole genre. I think it's hilarious. I loved it. It's kind of fun. Well, all right. Well, from like satire and funny stuff to maybe something that's not so funny. You pointed out this, you saw something interesting, right? About kind of real estate versus gold versus Bitcoin. Can you tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about this here?
Shout out to that small YouTuber too. Small, but he has like 13,000 subs.
Okay.
He's a Canadian.
We're boutique YouTubers.
I like your style, man.
Yeah, there you go. Boutique.
So this guy, somebody and he just covers Bitcoin, and the guy is like somebody in his audience. Yeah, but you can buy just like real estate, and you can just get like appreciation and all that. So he found out this chart.
Hmm.
What is showing on the bottom is the prices on UK, not in fiat, but in gold. And look at it, it's just basically flat. That's an interesting way to see how the assets play out through the years. If you think about it, removing the fiat, you didn't truly win anything, right? You didn't make any upside. Compared to Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin has increased.
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes sense. Like, right, a lot of people will see their home as a big investment, but you get a lot of use out of a home, right? It's not just a house, right? It provides protection, safety, security for you and your family. However, for those that are like buying real estate and things like that, and doing that as a business, you should always take a look and compare things. Now, the thing about real estate is the government provides a lot of tax benefits and stuff like that to doing real estate. So it always does depend. But if you're looking at purely like appreciation, you've got to realize that most houses, at least in the US, I think this chart is a UK chart, the one that the guy was sharing, but in the US, you might expect a house to appreciate maybe 3 to 5% or something, depending on the area. And in some cases, right, it goes down or is flat. But when you take into account inflation, that's when you really see inflation is at 6%. They say it's 2 or 3%, but if it's at 6 to 8%, I think we've seen in the last 5 years, it's probably a little higher. Your house inflation adjusted loses value. Right. And so we've mentioned this before on the pod about how there's going to be this flight to quality, flight to Bitcoin specifically, because all these other asset classes, when you compare it to Bitcoin, don't perform as well. So you may eventually see this flight to quality, which would be over to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is more scarce. Right now, we're still mining. So there's, several Bitcoin mined every day, but eventually, that will slow down. Now we're still talking about, you know, 50, 100 years from now. I forget when it ends, but in any case, it's not that many that are being mined at this point. But so we dug into a little bit in terms of some of the numbers for like the U.S. base, right? So since 1970, um, you might think like if you did $100 investment in the S&P 500 from 1970, it would have grown to $22,000. That $100 would have grown to $22,000. That's a pretty big growth, right? But also that takes into account inflation and things like that, right? So a lot of that could be inflation. When you take a look at an investment into gold at $100 from 1970 to now, it would have only grown to $5,000 worth of gold. So not that much growth in gold. S&P 500, 20 something thousand, gold, $5,000. Real estate, $100 in real estate, only $1,500. So when you start comparing things, that's where you can really see where the real growth is, right? S&P
Hmm.
500 has done well. That's why a lot of people consider that that's where you invest for your retirement and things like that. Bitcoin hasn't been around since 1970, right? It's been around, let's say, for a decade, obviously more, but just for math purposes, uh, if you had put $100 of Bitcoin a decade ago, it's grown like 5,000%. It's like it's gone from, let's call it $1,000 to $100,000, but really from like $100 to $125,000. I mean, it's been a lot of growth, right, for Bitcoin. So that's why a lot of people have gone that way. Of course, not financial advice, but it won't have that same amount of growth forever, right? Bitcoin, obviously, it's slowing down. There's diminishing returns. At least that's what we're starting to see, right? The 4-year cycle may be broken, maybe not broken, maybe just extended. We don't know. It is until it isn't. That's what we've seen with Bitcoin. But I know Michael Saylor is at least saying, Bitcoin over the next 30 years will likely at least average 30% yearly, something like that, right? So what do you think about it? Like, how do you see it? Do you see what this guy was saying as being like accurate?
I think so. I think that he was saying, and again, I get it, utility, right? So if you have your house, you have to live, right? So it's like get the one, yes, pay for that house, right? But the next ones, like investment properties, what would you want to just keep them? In fact, maybe the smartest way, in my opinion, is do both. You get the leverage from a bank that is lending you a house, you already have some equity, and then refinance again, and those are free bitcoins. How do I know that? Is because I did that, right? So that was kind of the smart move to do when interest rates they were low, which right now they are getting lower too, right? So if you have equity, why not? And you don't have Bitcoin, you're missing. And this guy was good though. That's the reason why I'm giving him a shout out, because he says that a lot of people, their spouses, they might not allow them to do that. And the guy's like, it's easy. Just fix the kitchen, fix the bathroom, fix the kitchen. The improvements that wife is wanted to do or whatever, right? Or husband wants to do, and the other half you just put it on Bitcoin. So you get to keep the house, you have the
Happy wife,
equity.
happy life. He's a smart guy, a
That's
wise
for
man.
sure.
That's too funny. Well, I think, yeah, definitely. I think just in general is you've got to be aware, whether you are investing in real estate, whether you're investing in Bitcoin, whether you're investing in gold, be aware of the inflation rates and your real gains, right? Always have them be kind of inflation adjusted. A lot of people still, I hear it, just have a savings account and don't have things invested. Now, when you do that, you're really losing purchasing power over time. So, at the very least, get something. At the very least, real estate does kind of keep you inflation adjusted, right? Because typically with inflation, housing prices also increase, right? A lot of people have been complaining that they can't afford houses because they keep growing in value, but it's because of inflation, right? So at the very least, yes, you could do that. But if you don't have your money, I guess, again, not financial advice here, but you're losing purchasing power over time, right, due to inflation. So be aware of that and just be aware of, gold versus Bitcoin versus real estate. They all have different things. So you should have your own personal hurdle rate for investing. Like if we're looking at businesses to invest in or to start, you might say, I wanted to make at least 30% on any money invested in terms of a return, because otherwise I can make that sending covered calls or doing investing and things like that into the stock market. So be aware of that and be smart. Be smart with your money.
For sure. I think that we have a good one, man.
Yeah. I think this is a good one. Again, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and comment. We do love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions or if there's anything that you want to hear about, let us know. We're trying to release a few more videos, maybe one every day. We are cutting them into clips. So if you can't do the full podcast as a whole, we are releasing kind of these segments on a clipping basis. So some might be a little bit shorter, 5 to 10 minutes. So it might be easier to digest. So take a look at that. Please share with your friends. We are trying to grow. We did recently hit 500 subscribers. I think we're already shooting up to close to maybe 530 maybe. So help us get to 600 subscribers. It'll mean the world to us. All right. Okay. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Mando, hope you feel better. That